All right. Hello and welcome to the channel. I am Sherman Rivers, and I want to share just a little bit of thought on something, a concept called the imposter syndrome. I'm smiling because I just did something really um, messed up. I'll share that with you a little later on in the video, but I can't do anything but laugh about it. Imposter syndrome, that's what we're talking about here. This is something that I have dealt with in the past, not just one time, more than one time. These things come in waves, this imposter syndrome. But what is the imposter syndrome? What is an imposter? An imposter is someone who is pretending to be someone that they are not. So there's a couple different things I think that we have to look at when we look at this imposter syndrome and figure out how to deal with it, because this can cause you to not do what you need to do, not be who you need to be because you feel like you are faking it, feel like you're pretending to be someone you're not. Um, just like I said earlier, I am Sherman Rivers. Who is Sherman Rivers? Who are you? Who are you? When you say I am, what does that mean? Well, I'm glad you asked, because this is a big part of this thing, this imposter syndrome. When you say something like "I am successful," I am um, a hard worker, I am worthy, things like that. You put "I am" in front of it. Imposter syndrome would be, at least a part of it would be you not really believing what you say that you are, who you say that you are. And often this has a lot to do with the results. Let's use that example. I am successful. And then to turn around and tell the world that, to act as if, that could be hard if you don't believe it. Well, I think that has a lot to do with your understanding of that term, successful. And I'm just using success as an example in this case. But often people would say success is about the results, right? How can you claim that you're successful if you don't have the results? How could you act as if you don't have the results? You're faking it, right? You are an imposter. And that's what you could tell yourself. You are an imposter. But if you rephrase your thinking, reframe your thinking as to what success is, maybe success is not just about the results. Maybe the success is like Napoleon Hill and others have talked about. Maybe success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal or idea. Keyword here, progress. What is that? That is lifting up their foot, taking a step, right? Firmly planting that foot, done. Picking up the other foot, taking that step, putting one foot in front of the other. We're making progress. Just one example of progress, right? So that is success in my book. You want to get from point A to point B, you're going to have to walk there. You're going to have to take steps. You have to put one foot in front of the other. As long as you're doing that towards that worthy goal or ideal, then you are successful. So why would you think you're not successful or experiencing success? Because you're not there yet. And anybody on the outside looking at it that would see that you're not there yet. So in your mind, you're thinking, well, I won't be a success until I get to wherever I'm going, right? What happens if you get there and you see another place you want to go to, right? Are you suddenly not successful anymore? I made it from point A to point B, but along the way, my vision expanded and I want to get to point C. Are you not successful? Think about that for a second. But that's what imposter syndrome largely centers around. So what happens is people, because they feel like they're not there yet, that they can't claim that, they can't act as if, they don't take the steps. And a lot of times in our mind, we think that we have to magically be at the end, have those results before we can look at ourselves as that thing or in that place. The secret is that until you're able to see yourself there and envision being in that place or achieving that goal, you're not going to be able to do what you need to be able to do to get there. So it becomes this vicious cycle. It's just a circular thing, and you never get there because you can't stay in the game long enough. You can't keep stepping long enough to get where you need to be. I'll give you a good example. Um, when I was in the military, I served in the 82nd Airborne Division. I was a airborne infantryman, paratrooper. A large part of what we did in our operations consisted of what we called road marching. A road march was a large movement of troops, personnel from point A to point B, and without transportation, there weren't any trucks to transport you there. You had to walk. Um, so we marched, road march, 12 miles, 18 miles, whatever it took to get there. Um, And that march consisted of putting one foot in front of the other. The results would be getting to the end of that road march with as many people and as much equipment, weapons and equipment as possible. Well, the goal was to get there with all your personnel and all your weapons, to bring those weapons to the battle, um, to bring that power to the battlefield, right? But that's a long way to go. It's a lot of time there. A lot can happen mentally when you're taking that journey, right? And often you'll want to quit. You're maintaining this fast and furious pace. You get all this weight on your back. Sometimes the weather conditions aren't all that great. And then you got a million other things going through your mind, a million other things that you're dealing with. Um, Sometimes it can be hard to stay focused. Sometimes it was even better to let your mind drift and let your body just go on autopilot, right? Feet hurting, back hurting, hips hurting, knees hurting, pounding. We call it ground pounding, just pounding it out, one step after the other. One of the things that we would say when someone wanted to quit, what you would hear is, "Who are you? Who are you?" Imposter syndrome is kind of like somebody saying that I'm the guy who just finished the road march, but you're not there yet. I think a better way to look at it is I am a soldier. I am a paratrooper. I am infantry. I am strong. I am determined. These are all the things that you're going to need to believe and display in order to get to the end of that road march. That is in the now, right? So I say that to say this. Often we um, fail to look at things that way, and we look at our current situation, our current result, and we think that if we are not there yet and we act or think as if we are there yet, if we picture that and we let the world know, then that we're being an imposter. Another good example, I think, is when, say, somebody does something or says something to you and um, bothers you to the core. They violated a boundary, is uncalled for or is inconsiderate, rude, whatever, right? And for whatever reason, you can't seem to address that. You can't seem to maintain those boundaries, right? You pretend that it doesn't bother you. There's that word again, pretend. So when you do that, to, for whatever reason, take the path of least resistance to maintain the peace, this, that, the other, um, are you an imposter at that point? I think that you are, especially if it happens on a consistent basis. You pretend to be somebody you're not. You're pretending to be someone who that is okay with. But on the inside, it's tearing you apart. You're pretending you're an imposter. I would be pretending I would be an imposter in that case. But now if you turned around and you said, you know what, I don't deserve that. I deserve better. Um, I deserve A, B, and C. Well, you're not getting that. It's not the result. So would that make you an imposter, pretending to be somebody who deserves to um, be treated better? Just from that example, I'll have a better interaction. Is that being the imposter? So when you think about it, it gets pretty interesting. But here's my thoughts on that. You have to act as if and claim, demand what it is that you're seeking, where it is that you want to go. And that's the only way that you can get there if you're not there already. But the minute you become the kind of person who believes that they can't speak on a thing um, at a reasonable level, I'm not saying go out and talk about wealth and money and finances as if you're a multimillionaire. You don't understand how money works. Yeah, that's a completely different. That's an imposter. Um, but um, being that person who can speak on the things that you know, um, act on the things that you know how to do, toward becoming the person or having the results of the person that you are, who you truly are. I don't think that's being an imposter. What do you think? I mean, I think this is an interesting concept, interesting conversation. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. And the reason I was laughing when I started this video is because this is the second time filming this video. I literally made an entire video about this minutes ago and never pressed record. But hey, there you have it. What are your thoughts? Imposter syndrome. Let me know in the comment section. And if anything I said here has been beneficial to you, hit that like button. If you think somebody else can benefit from that message, be sure to share it with them. Peace.